Hi, this is Kevin Trainer. Welcome to my tutorial on install PyCharm Professional on Windows. And I'm recording this for the spring 2024 semester. And as is common, I have a document here to show you. So this is a document that I create for really all of my courses where we're using these Python tools. And this is the one that I created for IS 430 Foundations of Information Processing. But if you're taking a different course, uh, you'll have available to you a comparable document. And the title is Instructions for Tool Versions Installation in Virtual Environments. And this is one for spring 2024, but this video is going to have a life of probably at least a year, so you could be taking this course in spring 2025. So the part of the document that's interesting to us for this tutorial is installing PyCharm Professional. And to do that, we're going to do the following. We're going to get a student license from JetBrains, that's the vendor, that will allow you to use JetBrains products for free during our course. In fact, you'll be able to continue using them for free as long as you have a university email address. Set up a JetBrains account, install JetBrains toolbox, install PyCharm Professional, and create and configure your first Python project using PyCharm. So please be sure to follow the directions. It's exactly as you possibly can. Um, you might already have a copy of PyCharm installed on your machine. Okay, and you might think, well, that'll work great. I can skip this. Don't. All right, because it could be the wrong version, and it definitely is probably not up to date. Okay, um, so I really want you to follow the directions that are uh, uh, here on your document and that I follow in the tutorial. Um, I'm recording this for spring 2024. If you're playing this for spring 2024, the experience that you have in doing this is going to be probably exactly the same as what you're seeing is happening for me in the video. But as time goes on, your experience and the experience that I'm having in the video are going to diverge. And that's because the products change. And they change in a lot of different ways. But the installers, they change them all the time. Uh, the way to configure a PyCharm project, every time they come up with a new version of PyCharm, and they update PyCharm, I think either 3 or 4 times a year. Um, it's possible that they'll change one of the parts of the dialog where you configure a project. Okay, so um, here's what we're going to do. Uh, First of all, always take the newest version of whatever's offered, unless I've warned you off that. Now, how am I going to warn you off that? Well, in this document for your course, if there is a reason why I don't want you to install the latest available version, I'm going to say down here, don't install the latest available version. Here's where to find the version that you should use. Okay. Instead, I've said no problems expected, install latest available version. Okay. So for spring 2024, install the latest available version. For future semesters, look at your document and find out exactly the version that I want you to install. Okay? Okay, so let's get started. Get a student license from JetBrains. Okay, so we're doing this on Windows, so we're going to fire up the Edge browser and let's do a search for JetBrains student license. Okay, and let's see what we like. I kind of like this one. JetBrains educational license and graduation discount. Let's look at this. Are you currently a student at a accredited educational institution? Yes, you are. Is this the first time you're applying for a JetBrains educational license? Well, for most of you, it's going to be yes. So say yes. Okay. Do you have a valid university email address? Yes. Go to the educational license application portal. Okay. Well, you know, this is where I thought we were going to go the first time. Okay. So I'm going to agree to allow JetBrains to collect cookies. So, of course, I would have said I'm a teacher, but you're going to say you're a student. Level of study, well, you're going to pick that. Is computer science or engineering your major field of study? I would say if you are in the School of Information Sciences, even though that's not exactly what they're asking you, I would say yes. Email address, use your university email address and all the rest of the things and click apply for free products. Now, what's going to happen is that they're going to send you a license soon. Okay. It used to take half a day or a day. More recently, it just happens immediately. Okay. Uh, your mileage could vary. We'll see. Okay. And that'll be enough information for you to continue on. Okay. Now, how does one continue on? Well, after you've gotten the email back that says that you have the license, you're going to want to go to the JetBrains main website, which is jetbrains.com. Okay? And here we are. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create an account. Okay? So how could you do that? Well, you click up here in the top navigation bar on the person icon. And if you're not registered yet, create a JetBrains account, which I'm not going to do because I already have one, but you put in your university email address and you sign up. Okay? And between this and the information you got back on your email, you're going to be able to get set. Okay? Now, I am already set, so I'm going to log in. Okay? And your user ID becomes your, user ID is your university email address. And I'm just going to go over to my password manager, if I can find my way to it here. And I'm going to find my password. And since I'm not seeing that this very second, let me put you on pause until I get that done. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I found my password, so let me paste it in here and sign in. Okay, and I'm not going to save the password in the browser. I don't really like doing that. And so uh, if you don't have your license information here, well then if you follow the directions in the email that you got back, then you can do the work to get that done. Okay, and so now uh, you you're going to have this JetBrains product pack for students. Now you see a lot of links here, and please don't click on them. Okay. For instance, a lot of people are tempted to click on PyCharm and then go install it that way, and that's not the way that works the best. Okay. What works the best? Well, if we click on download, we get a list of products, but scroll down to the bottom, get the toolbox app. That's the way that works the best. That's what I want you to use. So click on the toolbox app and it comes up. And there is a download and it knows I'm on Windows, so it's giving me the exe. So I'm just going to click download. And we can see it downloading. It looks like it already did download. I'm going to click on see more. And okay. Oh, I see. The old Anaconda installer is there too. All right. So that's enough for me. I'm going to close the browser for now and go down, and I've got a copy of File Explorer in the taskbar, so I'm going to open that. And I'm going to double click on downloads. And here's the JetBrains toolbox, and I'm just going to, and again, what's the best way to install on your machine? On mine, it'll probably work if I just double click it. But to be safe, we might want to highlight it, right click, and then say run as administrator. Okay. And then do we want to allow changes? Yes, we do. And we want to install, so click the install button. And this, I think, goes pretty fast, so I'm not going to put you on pause. Yeah. And the checkbox for run JetBrains toolbox is already checked. I'm going to leave that checked and click on finish. Okay. So we get a welcome to the toolbox app. Let's click on continue and accept the license. Okay. And you can pick your theme. I like the dark theme. And so I chose that and get started. And this is a toolbox itself. Okay. So it looks pretty good right here. Okay. Now, Toolbox, it has a weird kind of user interface. I'm also going to close this file explorer. Toolbox has a little bit of a weird user interface in that when it's running, you see the panel, but as soon as you click off of it, you lose it. Okay, and so and we don't have an icon for it down here in the taskbar. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on the Start menu, and let's go upper right to All Apps, and let's go down to J for JetBrains Toolbox, and I'm going to right click and choose More, and then Pin to Taskbar. Okay, so now that little cube for the toolbox is always there. Okay, so when you want to bring this up, you can click on the cube and it's up. Okay, and then if you click off of it, it closes. And if you want to bring it back, you can go down to the taskbar again and do that. sometimes when you install this, you'll see up here in this kind of header area that there's a new version of Toolbox that can be installed by clicking on a link. Go ahead and do it. You should have the most recent version. Okay, so these are all of the JetBrains products that you can install. We want to install PyCharm Professional. That's here within the first page. So that's what we're going to do. If you go down further, you'll see another PyCharm. There's PyCharm Community. That won't do everything that we want to do in our course. Okay, so do not install that. Now, you can install both of them. Okay, feel free to install PyCharm Community Edition and play with it, or any of the rest of these. Okay, that you get interested in, because you can install all of them if they'll fit onto your machine. But the one that we want for our course is PyCharm Professional. So there's an install button. Click on install. And you can see up top that it's doing the download. And again, on my machine, this goes pretty fast. This is a Windows virtual machine that runs on my Mac. How fast this is going to go, it's going to depend on how fast your machine is, how fast your internet connection is, how busy the download site is, all these things. So your experience is going to probably be different than what you're seeing in the video by some amount. And since we're waiting here, I'm going to put you folks on pause, and I'll come back in a minute when this is done installing. Here you go. Okay, we're back. And as you can see, this installation has resolved. You can see that we've got the version is 2023.3.2. So PyCharm publishes a good 3 or 4 versions of, JetBrains publishes a good 3 or 4 versions a year of PyCharm. And this is the most recent version here. Now, what if it wasn't? Well, see where the install button is over here? They're on this right column. There'd be a button, I think it's usually a blue button, that says update. Okay? In that case, you just have to click on update and kind of watch it process like we just did, and it will update it. Okay? If you have more than one product installed, there's usually some kind of a link up here at the top for update all, in which case it runs all the updates. Okay, so this is a really good way to install these products on your machine. Okay, is this the way that you want to start up PyCharm every time you go? Do you really want to have to start up the toolbox? You can, when you're in the toolbox, you can click on the name of the product and it's going to open it. Okay. But do we really want to do that? Okay. Do we want to import any settings? No, really we don't. So we'll take the default, do not import settings, click on OK. And it's going to bring up PyCharm Professional. Okay. You decide whether you want to send anonymous statistics. I'll say yes. You could say no. All right. And so now it's going to say, do we want a 30-day free trial, or do we want to activate it? Well, if you've gone through all the work that has to be done for to get your license, Okay, you're in a position to activate it. So you should be clicking on Activate PyCharm and get license from your JetBrains account. That's the way to do it. Okay. Here, there's a button Log in to JetBrains account. Click on that. And it's going to fire up the browser. Okay. And of course, your username is going to be, oh, it still has my username, my university email. And my password is over on the other screen in my password manager. So I'm going to paste that in there. Well, that didn't work. Let me try that again. Oh, well, we'll see if it did. All right, there it is. I pasted it in. I'm going to sign in, and we'll see here. And we get this problem with Windows Defender Firewall. I typically don't like this, so I'll have PyCharm to communicate on these networks. Well, let's just click on this private networks. Okay. All right. Allow access. Authorization successful. So when I looked at my account, saw that I had the license and it's fine. And you can close this page to return to the IDE. There we are. IDE being Integrated Development Environment, which is what a PyCharm is. And in the lower right, we click on Exit. And now this is the way that we activate PyCharm. Okay, and PyCharm just kind of faded away there. Now, you could, if you wanted to, you could always click on toolbox and then go up to PyCharm Professional and click on that. But that doesn't seem good to me. Let's get a link down here in the taskbar for PyCharm Professional. Okay, so go over to the start icon, click that, go up to all apps, okay, and then come down through the alphabet. But now we're going to open up the folder for JetBrains, and now there's an icon for PyCharm Professional. Right click, pick More, Pin to Taskbar. Okay, and there it is down there. So now I'm going to click off of that. And now whenever I want to start PyCharm, I can just go to my taskbar and click that. So that's what I'm going to expect you to be doing, because that's the fast way to do it. Okay, so we have here a new version of PyCharm, and I think this one came out in early December of 2023. It's only been out. This is right now, today's the 26th of December 2023. So this has been out less than 4 weeks. And the reason I'm re-recording the tutorial is that it's some of the dialogues have changed enough that it can be disorienting. Okay, so do we want a new project? Yes, we do. So let's click on the icon for new project. All right. Now let's look so in the left panel, you're going to pick the kind of project, and the default is pure Python, and that's what we want. Okay, on the right side, we're going to configure it. Look at the second thing in the right panel, location. This is the directory where it's going to put this PyCharm project. Okay. And it has created a subdirectory under my user home directory, and it's called PyCharm projects, and it does that as part of the install. And I think that's a good place. Now, if you want your project to go somewhere else, well, then you can click over here and navigate to where you'd like it to be. Okay, but PyCharm projects is fine for me. And now up here, the name of the project. So I'm going to call this uh, first, and we're going to type this in what Python people call snake case. The letters in all lowercase, and then the words separated by underscore. So first underscore test underscore Python underscore project. Okay, snake case. All right. If you've already created a Git repository, if that's something that we're doing in a course and you've already done, well, you could check that. You certainly don't have to. Interpreter type. Well, you should have already installed Anaconda, and you should have already created an Anaconda virtual environment. And the one that we're going to be using here is the one called E for Trainer Python course. So how do we connect to that? Well, in this interpreter type setting, we want to take the third option, custom environment. And then below it, an environment. We don't want a new one. We want to select existing. Okay. And under type, we don't want Python. We want Conda. Okay. And path to Conda, it should be able to find on its own. Okay. And for environment, we should be able to take the drop down and see the one that we want. We have E for Trainer Python course. If you're not seeing what you want, try reload environments. Okay. And then if you have created E for Trainer Python course, it should be here. So let's select that. All right. And let's click on create. And because this is our first time in here, we're going to see some interesting things. Okay, so you'll see over here there's an advertisement for the AI assistant, and that's something that came out with this new version of PyCharm Professional that came out in early December 2023, and that's one of the reasons I've re-recorded all of this stuff. And in our course, we're not going to use AI Assistant per se, but we are going to use some related features that came in at the same time as AI Assistant. So let's close this window for AI Assistant here with the minus sign. Okay, and let's go deal with things related to that. Let's go up and click on this pancake here, and that's going to turn on the menu. Okay, and so let's pick file and then settings. Okay, and it's going to bring up the settings dialog. Okay, and down here about halfway on my screen is plugins. So click on that. Okay, and over in the right panel, there's marketplace where you can look for more plugins, and we're not going to need to do that, or installed. So go over on the right side, click on installed, and you can see, for instance, that we have automatically got AI Assistant and a couple of other things. Okay, now these AI driven features in these IDEs like PyCharm, I think they're going to be promising. For the courses that I teach, right now in the spring of 2024, we're not going to be using AI Assistant. Why? Well, two reasons. reason one is that uh, I don't think it's a great way to learn. Okay, if you turn on AI assistant, it suggests whole passages of code for you. Um, as a beginner to whatever we're learning, okay, that's not a good way to learn it. And uh, these features, full blown as they are in AI Assistant, are good for people who are past the beginner stage because um, you have to be a competent uh, programmer in whatever course you're taking in order to look at the things that the AI assistant suggests and decide whether they're appropriate or not. Um, One of the problems with these large language model AI assistants is that they're really glib. They're really good at saying plausible things. Okay, and depending on what you're using them for, um, they do, I think, a pretty good job of sounding and looking and reading authoritative. Okay, so I think they're helpful to people who already have their own authoritative point of view, so that they can look at what's been suggested and say, yes, I like that. No, that was a bad idea. Okay. So reason one is uh, as uh, you're not ready to use this kind of feature, the kind of help that you need is a true expert. Okay. Not an AI expert. Okay. AI experts are like glib junior helpers. Okay. They're always going to say something that sounds plausible and they'll say it in a pleasant way. Uh, you can use those kind of features when you have enough background to decide when they're giving you good stuff and whether they're giving you stuff that you should be throwing away. The second reason that we're not going to do this is that in order to use this feature, you'd have to buy a subscription that's, I think it's $10 a month. It's $120 a year, something like that. We're not going to do it. So we're not going to install this. So we're going to uncheck AI Assistant. Okay, there. Full line code completion we are going to use, and I'm going to show that to you. And I think that gives us a lot of suggestions. But code completion, students have been using that in learning to program courses for a long time. And um, I think it helps the learners. It's not as distracting as it might be. So leave the full line code completion checked. Machine learning code completion, leave that checked. Machine learning and search, leave that checked. That's all fine. Okay, so AI assistant off, the rest of these on, and then you can click apply, I guess. I'm not really ever sure that apply buttons actually do anything, and then okay. Okay, oh, and it says we need to restart, so let's restart and confirm exit. Okay. And it's restarting it. Okay. As promised. Okay, now the Windows version of PyCharm is pretty sticky, which is typically when you start it up, it opens the last project that you had open. That's typically, historically, that hasn't been true on the Mac. When you open it on the Mac, then you just, it's essentially empty and you have to go find the last project that you did. Okay, so here we are already open. First test Python project. okay? Uh, a Python project is just a directory, okay? So let's go, in fact, let's go to the File Explorer and click and open that. All right. And on this PC, let's open that. We have, I'm sorry, let's open this PC with the little triangle and local disk C. Oh, that was up there too. So local disk C, double click, and then users, double click, and then your ID, double click, and then PyCharm projects, open that. And there it is. It's just a directory. It's just a folder, first test Python project. And if we double click that, we'll see this .idea is a metadata directory. Okay, so this keeps a lot of the PyCharm settings, but we don't have any proper files yet. Okay. All right, so I'm going to shrink this, minimize it with the minus sign, and we'll come back to it. Okay. All right, so how do we get our first Python program? Well, let's highlight the name of the project and right click and pick new and then down to Python file. Okay. And the one that we're going to do is we're going to type the name in snake case. So all lowercase with words separated by underscores. So it's going to be goodbye, cruel world. Goodbye, underscore, cruel, underscore, world. Okay. And then no.py. It knows we're creating a Python file and it'll put the .py extension all by itself. Okay, enter. Okay, and it's going to create a file. You'll see that show up on the navigation panel on the left, and it's going to open the editor for Python files on the right. Okay, and now we're ready to enter some code. So we're just going to do a very simple program here. The first thing we're going to do is something we call a docstring. This is a special kind of comment that in this case is going to describe the intention of the program. And it begins with three, I call them double quote marks. It's the proper quotation with the two ticks. So I'm going to shift and put three of those. 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice that this is a syntax-aware editor. So it knows that for every quote mark, there's a paired end quote, and it's going to put them in. So you'll see that we've got 3 opening quotes and 3 that we typed, and 3 closing ones that were generated for us. I think if you're new to this kind of editor, you're going to find it annoying. And I would say just to bear with it for a while, because once you get used to it, it really does save you a lot of typing. It not only saves you the typing, but of course, everything it types in for you is not a typo. Okay, and then we're just going to have a sentence or expression here that describes the intention. And this is going to be a demonstration program to show printing a line. Okay, and that's not a proper sentence, so it's not going to get a period. All right. Okay, and then we're going to create 2 blank lines. Enter, enter. Oh, I find 2 blank lines. I need 3 enters. Okay, and now we're going to create this thing called a function that's going to be called main. So here we're going to type def, D-E-F. That's how we define a function. That's short for defined space. And then main, all lowercase, M-A-I-N. and then an open paren. And you'll notice we don't have to type the close paren because it did it for us. Okay. And then we're going to, I'm going to press the right arrow and put in a colon. Okay, and then enter. All right. And I think I forgot to do something. So I'm going to take a look at this and pause. I'm going to pause and check out a couple things, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I had forgotten to turn something on in my virtual machine, so I apologize for that. But I'm back to Goodbye Cruel World, in which case we put a doc string, and you can have doc strings at various levels in a program. The one we're going to use most frequently is just at the top of the program. Okay. And then we've put in the def for main. This is creates a function called main, which is where our code is going to go. And let's put a carriage return after that, a new line. Okay. And there's a feature called full line autocompletion, and it wasn't coming on. And I thought it was maybe because of some of the settings I had in the virtual machine. But one way to toggle it on in Windows is to use a key combination, Control, Shift, and Space all at the same time. So Control, Shift, Space. And there we are. That's auto-completion on. Okay. So we're going to see how that works. All right. So I think it's on now. And now let's type in print. And you can see that it's giving us some ideas about what we might to print. These are some auto-completion possibilities. And prints a function, so it's followed by a paren, so left paren. It automatically is going to give us the right. And okay, and then let's we're going to put in a character string that is surrounded by some kind of quotes. I like to use apostrophes here, so I'm going to put in an apostrophe, and you see that it put in another apostrophe, and it's also suggested that I put in hello world. Okay, now this is part of this full line auto completion feature that just came out in December, early December, and it it can seem like a pain in the rear end sometimes, but it's pretty cool. So it's suggesting that we print hello world, which is the traditional program, first program. Now we're going to do goodbye cruel world. Okay, now what if you wanted to take the suggestion, all of what it suggested autocomplete? Well, press the tab key. So we're going to do that. We press the tab key and we accept the autocomplete suggestion. Okay, now then I'm just going to backspace over it and get rid of hello and type in goodbye and a comma cruel world. Okay, that looks good. All right. And okay, I'm going to need a blank line after that. So these functions, like the main function, it needs two blank lines before the start of the function and two blank lines after. That's just a style rule for typing in Python code. Okay, so now we need another blank line here. And uh, it's given us another suggestion. If dunder name, those double underscores are pronounced dunder for double under. If dunder name equal a dunder main. And about halfway through the course, we're going to start to accept that. But for right now, we're just going to type in main, M-A-I-N, and then parentheses. Okay, and that's a call to the main function. Okay, and then go to the end of the line and press enter. Okay, and it still wants to suggest further things. And what happens if I press the escape key? That goes away, so that's good. So this full line autocompletion, we've always had autocompletion, okay, and it's been pretty good at helping us not have to remember the syntax of Python. It gives us a lot of help there, okay. Um, it saves us from a lot of typos. Okay, so most people come to like autocompletion. Now, in this world of AI and large language models, just within the last month, from when I'm making the recording, they've rolled out this full line autocompletion feature. What I guess you could turn off if you didn't like it, but it's uh, much more helpful. It'll it'll say, well, what kind of thing would you typically type in at this point of your program? Or how would you typically finish this line? And I think that this is maybe good even for beginners. The challenge is you have to know when it's suggesting something that's wrong. Okay. And so I think that this is going to be the dividing line, at least for the current semester, the spring 2024, that we're going to do this full line auto completion, but we're not going to do more. If you're in one of my classes and you want to turn that off and you need some help doing that, I certainly will help you turn it off. But I've been using it for nearly a month now, and I've come to find it helpful. Okay. So I'm thinking that you probably will too. Okay. And I think this is within the realm of help that's consistent with you learning. Okay. So this is our first Python program. It's going to print goodbye cruel world. How do we run it? Well, we run it by right clicking anywhere in the editor panel. And about halfway down it, we have an option, run goodbye cruel world. So pick that. And you'll see it pops up a little panel on the bottom, and now you can see the output. Okay, well, what's with this panel in the bottom? Okay, well, what it's doing here is it's simulating what would happen at the command line if we were doing this in the command line. So instead of having to type in Python space goodbye cruel world.py, well, then we were able to just right click and run it. Okay, that's what we don't have to type that in at the command line. Now, what would have come out in the command line window? Well, the next line would have been goodbye cruel world. Okay, so this is actually simulating what would happen if we were doing it the slow way with a lot of typing in the command line window. Okay, how do we know that? Well, we could come over here and click in terminal. Okay, and Is it going to open up a terminal for us? Yeah, it is. And let's see what happens. So we could type Python space goodbye underscore cruel world dot py, enter, and it would come back right in the command line window. So the terminal is a command line window. It's kind of just here confined to this little thing at the bottom. Okay. And could you do that? Yeah, you could do it. I don't think that that's all that helpful. What I like to do again is this: right click and run goodbye cruel world. Now, something that's interesting, and we'll visit again, is that what if you want to rerun it? Do you have to right click and say run goodbye cruel world? No. Once you've run it the first time, there's a little play button here, rerun, right here. It's like a little hollow play button with a circular arrow. And if you click that, every time you click it, it'll run it again, even if you change the code. So one of the things that we do pretty often is we change the code. Instead of goodbye cruel world, we might be going to say goodbye cruel world, and then we might have a space and say forever exclamation exclamation. Okay, and we don't have to save files explicitly in PyCharm. We just have to click off the line, and then that gets saved. And now if we rerun it again, we get the new version. So that seems to be working just fine. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so I think that's properly here. I think that's working properly right there. So I'm going to pause for just a second. Okay, I'm back. So one more thing that I wanted to show you is sometimes when you're in PyCharm, you cannot see this. I call this the navigation panel over here on the left, because in this kind of toolbar that runs down the left side, if you click on this folder at the top, it toggles that navigation panel off. If you just click on it again, it'll come back. All right, so sometimes you might find it kind of getting lost. So I think this is enough for us to get started. I think we proved that we installed PyCharm Professional and everything's going well. So I'm just going to say bye until next time. Bye bye.